The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Family and unions demanding answers from Paria after horrific accident leaves maintenance men trapped in underwater pipeline. Family members of the 4 missing divers, who are now believed to be dead, waited in vain for yet another day yesterday, hoping that their loved ones would be found alive. Supported by members of the Movement for Social Justice, the trade union movement, and other groups, relatives demanded answers as they complained that there has been no urgency by the company to save the lives of their loved ones. At one point, a senior officer tried to stop the picketing, but after speaking with Oilfield Workers Trade Union OWTU President General Ansel Roget and MSC David Abdullah, they allowed the demonstration to continue with social distancing. The divers got sucked into a 30-inch pipeline while doing maintenance work at number 36 Sea Line Riser on berth 6 off Pointe-à-Pierre around 2:30 p.m. on Friday. Christopher Boodram managed to swim out of the pipe and was helped by Faisal Kurban's 2 sons, who are also professional divers. He is warded at the San Fernando General Hospital. Boodram told his wife that they lost their oxygen tanks after they got sucked into the pipe, but they found an air pocket. He and Kurban then decided to swim out of the pipeline, and on the way he found an oxygen tank. He said he almost gave up several times. Kurban's son Nicholas told reporters that they wanted to go back in search of his father and the other men, but Paria prevented them. We had the opportunity to get the rest of them out, but Paria and the officials and the safety men keep saying we can't go back to the line because it's unsafe. We get 2 dive teams from Chaguaramas, and these guys have the equipment to go the distance, and they have unlimited air, and they have pumps and everything, lights. But the bosses and the heads and them say they don't want to send men back down before more men die. The problem is that these guys are accustomed diving in rigs thousands of feet, and these guys are professionals too. Nicholas, however, believed the men were still alive. The last resort is to pump it out and let the men come out on the next side and take them out, said Nicholas, who explained the divers could get injured in the process. Henry's mother, Nicole Greenidge, complained that the company is now waiting for a permit to commence rescue efforts. Everything is like spinning top in mud and going around in circle because we just being fed with lies since Friday as far as I'm concerned, she said. She said Paria was not giving them any substantial information. We're not seeing no urgency to save their lives. They are moving as far as I can see as though they have bodies to pick up, so they don't have to worry. They're not thinking if those guys are alive. What is it they have to sustain themselves? They have been out there since Friday. Greenidge said at the meeting with Energy Minister Stuart Young and Paria officials at Paria's compound on Saturday, they got no answers. What they tell us and nothing is the same, she said. Meanwhile, MSJ leader David Abdullah said this issue goes to the very heart of all that is wrong in the country as a result of government policies. Policies that are demanding a callous regard for human life and people. Policies that are putting profit before people, so they boast about the profit of Paria and heritage, and we dispute that. Abdullah said what unfolded on Friday clearly shows that there was a system failure. He claimed that vessels, equipment, and divers who were prepared to rescue the divers were stopped by Paria and argued that Paria has also shown total disrespect to the families of the divers. Noting that the families have been camping out in a shed outside Paria facilities in Pointe-à-Pierre, he said the OWTU arranged lights, toilet facilities, chairs and tables for the families. Meanwhile, OWTU President General Ansel Roget again expressed his dissatisfaction with Paria's handling of the situation. He said there were no emergency rescue procedures and apparatus in place. Seamen and waterfront trade union leader Michael Anisette, who also participated in the demonstration, offered maritime legal services to the family. Paria changes rescue mission of trapped men to recovery operations based on advice from experts. After 2 days of searching for 4 members of an underwater maintenance crew, the Paria Fuel Trading Company has given up hope of finding them alive and now moves to recover their bodies. During a press conference at the Point-A-Pierre Staff Club at Point-A-Pierre Refinery, Paria said the recovery operations will begin today using a water displacement method to move the bodies out of the 30-inch submarine pipeline. Chairman Newman George said Paria's engineering team was designing the recovery procedure intended to ensure the uninterrupted movement of the bodies to the point of recovery. George said Paria came to this decision after a lengthy meeting between Paria, LMCS, the Coast Guard, and 2 independent diving experts. He said the company sent probes into the horseshoe-shaped line, but it encountered something at a certain depth and could go no further. They believe the men's bodies could be there and will insert pressurized water into the pipeline, hoping to lift the bodies out. Based on advice from all the experts, the operation has now moved from rescue to recovery. The experts have also agreed on a joint effort which will see a water displacement process being used to gradually push the bodies along the 400-meter pipeline to where they can be successfully recovered at berth 6, George said. Paria's general manager Mushtaq Mohammed said during the meeting yesterday, members determined it was too risky to send divers to attempt rescue operations without first determining the condition in the pipeline. Mohammed said Paria used various technologies including sending cameras and underwater crawlers to ascertain the conditions. He said there was no concrete evidence that the men were dead, but the information collected indicated that the probability of survival was very low. He said the risk of rescue was also high and intolerable. The decision was made after careful consideration of 2 key factors: the extremely low likelihood of survival and the risk of placing human life in danger in furtherance of a rescue objective. Our focus now is to treat these bodies with respect during the process of recovery and return to their loved ones. We also place particular emphasis on not placing any person in harm's way during these operations, Mohammed said. He said the company will be very respectful to the bodies of the men in the manner in which the recovery procedure is done, noting that they will be careful not to damage the bodies in the process. Around 2:30 p.m. Friday, Christopher Boodram, Faisal Kurban, Rishi Nagasar, Yusuf Henry, and Kazim Ali Jr., all employees of private contractors from LMCS Limited, were conducting an underwater maintenance exercise at the number 36 Sea Line riser on berth number 6 at the company's Point-A-Pierre facility. An incident occurred which sucked them into the pipeline. Ali Jr. is a son of LMCS Managing Director Kazim Ali. Boodram was recovered in the pipeline, and up to yesterday he remained in stable condition at the San Fernando hospital. He indicated that his colleagues were also in the pipeline. Paria said it immediately implemented a first response aided by the Coast Guard, fire service, and commercial diving experts. Mohammed confirmed that an emergency diver responded when they lost sight of the men and was unsuccessful in finding them. Paria's management has extended condolences to the missing men's families and has also offered counseling services. Immediately after the Paria news conference, political activist Philip Alexander, head of the Progressive Empowerment Party, called on Acting Police Commissioner MacDonald Jacob to open a criminal investigation into Paria and its response to the situation involving the divers. Alexander urged Jacob to declare berth number 6 at Point Pierre a crime scene. Angry relatives who sat alongside Alexander accused Paria officials of being secretive about the situation and denied that they were told before the news conference that Paria had changed the mission from rescue to recovery. They insisted they only learned that it had been changed to recovery via the news conference. They said it was insulting that Paria officials went to a news conference and extended condolences to the families without first meeting with the families of the men or without confirmation that the men were dead. Alexander also questioned why it took 54 hours for Paria to come to the press rather than having addressed the situation on Friday night. Alexander also said a private hospital has been identified to accommodate Christopher Boodram, the lone survivor who has now become an important witness to what happened on that fateful Friday. Relatives of the missing men said it was curious that all of a sudden they were hearing that Boodram had tested positive for COVID-19.